have my brother Agent Blurr. What's going on, my man?
What's going on, Lebanese Ether? I love it.
We in Shaolin today.
This is dope. Officially my first interview ever.
You serious?
Yes.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Freestyle Drive with the exclusive. I'm honored, man. That's dope.
Yes, appreciate it.
Because I know you're getting busy like crazy. I'm surprised to hear that actually. Because you releasing mad music. We're here to talk about your new EP,
Copy.
Full Metal Veteran.
Yes, sir.
That's dope. That's dope. But let's talk about your name first before we talk about the album. Agent Blurr.
Agent
How did that come about?
Honestly, I've been through an array of freaking names in my life. Because, you know, coming from the Kung Fu and martial arts background,
Okay.
my very first nickname was Wong Fei Hung.
Wong Fei Hung?
Just because this is the martial arts thing, and I just wanted people to think he was a
Does
Chinese
it mean
legend.
anything?
He was a Chinese legend.
Okay.
So like it's like a legend of like one of the great. He was a real person that actually started a lot of the Hung style kung fu, which is like tiger
okay.
and things like that. But his lore is so big that he becomes a legend in so many of the kung fu movies. He's like a main character. Like Jet Li has played him at least 4 times.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like
So he's a real person.
He's a real person.
A lot of movies.
Yeah, they kind of like they kind of exaggerate. He becomes bigger than life.
Okay.
Like a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? It becomes like a legend. So.
Do you know what century he lived in?
It's around the time of the invasion of Japan into China.
Okay.
So this is probably a little bit before World War II and stuff. Like really long before that, probably.
Okay, I'm asking for history lessons.
Yeah,
now.
I don't want to go deep, but I was a history major, so I love history. We ain't gonna go there. So, but yeah, I ran through a variety of names. I couldn't really pick one. When I got into rap, like I said, I kind of got into it for a friend. For my best friend Seymour Blunt's one of the dopest rappers ever.
That's how you started? That's how you started?
Yeah, so I just kind of got into it because I wanted to produce for him. I wanted to record for him because it just brought the cost down low. I always thought enterprisingly, like it brings the cost down low if we could just keep it in house. Yeah, let's just do it.
Makes sense. Yes.
So and I had a car, I had a Honda Accord, 1992 Honda Accord, and I'm a big fan of Transformers, so Blurr is my favorite Transformer.
Okay.
He used to talk really fast, and it was like, I'm old 80s. I love the old cartoon movie, and Blurr was made by the Micro Machine guy. It's an old toy for you young guys. Micro Machine was these little cars like Hot Wheels, but they were tiny. So he used to talk really fast, really fast. And I was like, oh, I love this. So it was just Blurr. I put it on my car because my car looked just like Blurr. And you know in the hood when people know you
put it on your car, like you put the word Blurr on your car?
I put the symbol, the Autobot symbol on the back of the car and the word Blurr. So, and you know how in the hood, like if people know you but they really don't know you. It's like, so they would see me all the time, but they would see the car and be like, yo, Blurr.
Oh, okay.
And it just stuck.
That became your name.
Yeah, it just stuck. So that's Blurr. And then, you know, and then I always loved James Bond. So I wanted to be an agent. So I just add agent in the front and there you go. You got agent.
I wasn't sure if it was a Men in Black reference to agent or something like that.
Agent Blurr.
Yeah,
I mean, it might be because I was also a big fan of Will Smith,
yeah.
which is actually #1 on my rapper list.
Wow, okay.
Will Smith.
You serious?
Yeah,
we gotta talk about that then. Okay, we'll do the top 5 in a little bit. Yeah,
and definitely Will Smith. #2 is Jay. But Will Smith.
That's dope. That's dope. You don't hear that often.
No, you probably won't. You probably won't. He was just super relatable to me growing up. So it's just like it just made sense.
We all grew up loving Will Smith. Right?
Yeah, I mean, like, but as a rapper, he was just really
too.
relatable to me. Like it just made sense. Like even though he rapped really dope, a lot of his stuff was like kind of. It was visual art. Like parents don't just understand. Exactly. Why did I fight Mike Tyson? Things like that. And then as you got older, he kind of found that niche of understanding where it's like all encompassing. Summertime, things you know, getting jiggy with it was larger than life.
Really was.
And I was like, he's like he understood how to take his visual appeal and cinematic appeal and also add the music to it. Then it's like, all right, cool. You never see a Will Smith single on the radio, but you know what? That track is #1 for Wild Wild West because of the goddamn soundtrack.
Exactly.
Even if the movie flopped, that single went crazy.
That song was just huge. Yep.
Men in Black went crazy. It's like, I like stuff like that. So anybody know about sync licensing, holla at me. I'm fiending to be in that space.
Okay.
Like,
what is that exactly? Like for soundtracks
like
for movies?
Soundtracks for movies, video games. That's more my thing. Like I love sound design, so I take a lot. Even when I'm sampling, I like twisting the sound, so I get away with a lot of samples. I'll be like, I don't even understand how they let me get away with that shit.
Cause you tell them you started off as a friend of a hip hop artist, and I kind of got you in the game because I know you produce a lot. I've seen you produce for lots of artists here in Shaolin and beyond in New York and other places. But I know you've been emceeing a lot. You just dropped the EP, Full Metal Veteran. Yeah. So. Did you start off producing and then rapping after you became like working for your kind of friends? Like,
I started off just kind of wanting to really record him.
Did you kind of become like an engineer just by?
It was like I had the room. So technically, I've always been that guy. If I see I think something's doper than you, which is actually I've heard this a lot recently, that a lot of people say that I just am not confident enough, and that's the only thing I'm missing, to just jump out there. So that's why I started rapping. I'm gonna just jump out there, because I had friends who I just always thought were doper than me. I got into this because I had a friend, he was actually really ill at computer shit.
Okay.
And he ended up actually making an app and stuff for Google later, and for like smartphones.
Dope.
So I was like, I used to watch him doing that, and I was like, yo, this dude is dope. He had a thing called Easy DJ in his house, and he was just making beats because he was just bored. He was brilliant. And I used to be like, yo, this is freaking ill. I had another friend, which are called Soundwave, hence Agent Blurr and Soundwave.
Okay.
Soundwave was, he was making beats. He lives right here in Stapleton Projects. Like, he was a part of the essence. So he had like a real kind of project sound to his beats that I could never achieve. Like I felt really suburban. Like it always sounded like pop and stuff.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, cool. I have the space. I'ma build it. This is the dopest producer I know. This is the dopest rapper I know. And then my man Zed is ill with all this fucking equipment.
Nice.
I have space.
I hear you.
I kind of really looked at myself as I'm the lowest guy on the totem
Okay.
pole.
By space, what do you mean? Physical space?
Like I had physical space.
Okay.
So
I like set up a studio.
Yeah, so I
Yes.
set up a studio. Let's go. We're going to get to it, get to work and things like that. As you slowly, as most people know in this hip hop thing, you start off with a big crew and slowly people just start to twiddle off. And since I had everything in my house, I just kept messing with it.
Okay.
And I got better.
Because it was easy access.
It was
so
easy access.
Easy to practice and
I'm
get better.
kind of a hermit. I'm socially awkward. So I
Okay.
was like, okay, this is something for me to do. I'm just gonna keep digging in, and I wasn't doing martial arts as much and stuff. So this is
Like you keep saying these things like you're socially awkward, you're a hermit, you're this and that, but it's like I feel you have this presence, man. Like I went to your show recently for the release of your album and for your birthday, which was recently. I brought my son to it. He had a great time seeing all the local acts in Shaolin. So many talented artists here. But you got this whole crew of people that kind of look up to you in a way or work with you and you work with them. It's a contradiction, I'm saying, in a way.
You know what? You're probably right. I think I'm always striving for a balance.
Or we're complex beings, I guess.
Yeah, and
okay.
I know me well. Like, I like my time alone. I have no issue with it, but I want people to socialize. I want people to be around. Kind of mostly, I'm a bit of a crab, so I'd rather you be in my area, and then you can go where you want after that.
You had the stage presence. You know, we're close to the venue right here on Wave Street, right?
Yes.
Hub 17.
Yes, Hub 17.
Yes.
Shout out to Kenny. Shout out to Girl on the Rocks.
That was
and all
dope.
those people who run that spot. It's a really dope space.
And it was a dope
anybody
show,
looking to do shows in Staten Island, please look them up. You know, holla at them. There's also my people's Penn and Perry. They also have a nice space here on B Street, which we're nearby. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things in Staten Island. I think I grew up here. I've always liked this sense of community, but like I said, like a balance. There's also that other side to it. So it's like, it's very weird, but it's a loving but standoffish place, and I kind of represent that in the fullest.
Were you born and raised in Staten Island?
I was born in Brooklyn, but
Okay.
we moved here when we were like 5. When I was like 5, my father bought the house when he was like 3, and then we moved here when I was like 5. And I lived in I was raised in West Brighton my whole life, pretty much.
Okay.
Then he bought a house in New Brighton, which I moved over there, and that's been between New Brighton and West Brighton. I've been in that place predominantly the majority of my life.
Okay.
And then my mother, she used to, when her and my father broke up, she moved around a lot of Staten Island. So
Okay.
I ended up in Stapleton, I ended up in the harbor, and
So you know the island pretty good.
I know the island pretty
good.
well,
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
And it just became that for me,
And I'm not trying to, be oppositional to what you're saying. You know yourself more than anyone else. I just felt
I
like
am
you had
big
that
bowl of contradictions.
Okay. I just feel like you had that stage presence.
I can know that completely about myself. Like,
and you're like a mentor to a lot of these artists, you know?
I think the mentor thing even came up from the fact of me just wishing I had somebody around that could just always point the right direction. Like my father was always there. So my father is also that contradictory spirit. Like we talked about that earlier, where he'd be like, get a job, get a 9 to 5. Do this, do that, and then at the same time, you're like, you'll never get rich working for somebody. So it's like, all right, so which way am I supposed to go? I don't really know. And like most of these kids, I think you're lost at times. And I just, freedom of expression was just dope for me. So that's kind of what I want them to always have. Like, it's a judgment-free zone. You can express yourself however you want. But also know the adverse side of anything is that you can say whatever you want as long as you can take the consequences for it.
So when did you go from being behind the scenes, more of helping your friends, building your studio, to being an actual rapper?
As soon as the pandemic hit.
Okay, really? Okay.
Pandemic hit. I had a lot of things happen to me that were kind of a little devastating to my ego, to the way I view myself, just a lot of stuff, and it just made me reassess things. And then it just became, why do I do this again? I had read a book a long time ago that was given to me by a mentor of mine named Jack Chernak, and it was called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. And it's like, if you can remember the why, you can kind of get an army or get people behind you without even having money. If they can all link about the why. So I just remembered that, and I just started projecting why I do this. Like, I have a love for the craft, I have a love for trying to be dope at something, and since I've always viewed myself as being the supportive character, it was the one place that kind of gave me a strength. Like, this is the one thing I know. I know I'm good at this.
I hear you.
And if nothing else, you know what I'm saying, I can't say I'm the best dad, I cannot say I've ever been the best boyfriend, any of that. I'm still single, and my kids are around, and we have certain back and forth, but at the end of the day, I'm good at this.
I hear you. Okay.
Nothing else, and this is what I've given. It's the one thing that people know about me. It's the thing that has spread over the years that I'm really good at. So that gives me an identity right now in this crazy time.
That's dope. Agent Blurr in the car with me today. We in Staten Island. We're talking about Full Metal Veteran. Why'd you name it Full Metal Veteran?
Well, Intel named it Full Metal Veteran.
Wow, okay.
And if you don't know who Intel is,
Intel
is the son of the legendary Wu-Tang member U-God. We have gotten very close over the pandemic, just working, and that was the space that also we linked, was just
I see y'all working
the
closer
craft.
together.
Yeah,
Yes,
we call each other Looper, like, because sometimes I see a younger version of myself in him, and he makes a lot of better decisions than me. I like to say, or at an earlier age. So I like to see that, and I think I would like to say being around me has helped him do that too. And I think he's a legend in his own right, and like, people just don't know it yet. Like, his filmmaking abilities
he's
is
nice. He's
wonderful.
Behind the camera, he's dope.
And
on
the mic, he's dope.
Exactly.
And he's a wonderful engineer. Like, he's learned, and also a producer, like, in himself, like composing, putting tracks together. He knows, and he has a vision of what he wants to see. And being around him and seeing how much he put into, like, being up front made me be like, you know what, I should do it. And he thought it too. I remember he walked in, he said, Blurr, I'm gonna be the dude to get you a Grammy. I still remember that, and I love that. And he was like, you're a veteran, you've been at this a while,
nice.
So this is a Full Metal Veteran right here. And, you know, and we are big anime fans, so there's like that mix of Full Metal Alchemist,
okay.
that equivalent exchange, because we have a lot of conversations about that.
And he's a dope actor too. We ain't mentioned that part.
Oh yes, very dope actor.
Lots of talent.
Check him on
yes.
Wu-Tang Saga, season 2 and 3. I can't remember
yes.
the exact episodes again. And he's also on Law and Order, the newest Law and Order that's out right now. Please check him out.
I gotta check that out. Nice.
Yeah, not the newest recent episode, but he's on like episode 3 or something.
Right.
Oh, that's my phone. I need to shut that off.
All right, now you in an interview right now.
I'm gonna hit Seymour Blunt's back in a
All
second.
right, no doubt.
See, I do have friends who love me sometimes.
So you
they love me all the time. So
I mean, you still have that connection with Seymour.
me and Seymour been friends for like over 20 years. Over 20 years, like.
How does he feel now that he saw you starting off as, you know, again, helping out until just he's artist now?
Another super encouraging dude. It's almost like that thing that it's a ebb and flow. Like when he kind of took a backseat because he became like a new time dad, and he's seen how much I had gave to it during like early years of doing this. He did the same thing, and I just started picking up where he left off, started rapping more, and then when we form back, like, it's like we don't miss a step. We just form back like Voltron. We speak every day, regardless of whether he's rapping or not. That's just that's my brother, like, to death. My brother to another mother.
So you already released 2 videos for this EP, right?
Yes, I'm trying to learn marketing a little better. I released them really too close together. You know, but I wanted to put it out. First one is One of a Kind with me and Eclectic, who's one of my newest protege.
He's also dope. I think I like him a lot. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant dude. Like, he probably has all the skills to do everything I do and more.
I asked my son, what did you like at the show for the release? He was like, I like that song, Mr. Nobody, that he performed. That shit was dope.
It's like probably one of my favorite albums. His album drops August 23rd.
Nice. Okay.
One of probably my favorite tracks.
Producing parts?
I produced like 3 tracks on it. Mr. Nobody, the song that your son likes.
Yes.
He produced that himself.
Nice.
I was very proud of Eclectic. He's every day he just brings a smile on my face. He's a really dope kid. He makes me feel like there's hope. There's always hope. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think Shaolin is still the forgotten borough, or does it even matter anymore with this internet age?
Because again, that love of balance, it's the forgotten borough, but I think there's a piece of it that needs to be that way. The fact that you don't pay us that mind gives us that
hunger.
I need to show you how dope I'm here, and because we're isolated, I'm gonna automatically do something different than you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be like you. I want to do me.
Exactly.
And that's what comes out from Staten Island quite often to
the
me.
Staten sound. You're not trying to be Brooklyn sound or the Harlem sound.
Those are usually the artists I'm drawn to.
Yes, yes.
Because I know there's a lot of young artists who are, to me, I tell them all the time, if you don't have a therapeutic need to really do this, you're kind of always going to sound cookie cutter, because your thought process on doing it is, this is going to get me out the hood, this is going to get me money. I'm letting you know, 20 years I've been doing this, I'm still in the same areas. It's like, it's gonna, and that's not because of the music being good, as I even know it's about business. That's the business side of it. That has really nothing to do with your music. It's about how well you are at business. And I tell people all the time, I'm a terrible businessman.
It just seems like the business as a whole kind of sucks in general. Like, even if you know, what I realized, the reason why I started the show partially is that some of the dopest artists aren't necessarily going to be the most famous.
Yeah.
That sucks. I you know, that pisses me off. Like, I get mad that local radio doesn't play dope local artists, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's just like, it seems like that's just how the industry is that you could be the most dopest producer, dopest artist, and you're gonna have your following. It looks like nowadays you just got to build your following, which is kind of what you did and what you're doing with your, you know, the show you're building it, you know, the Shaolin movement, and then hopefully it expands.
It's again, I link that martial arts and music thing back, and being from Staten Island, I tell people all the time, I think it's less, in my studio, I am very true to the Wu-Tang sword style. It's like, it's a style of martial arts. To me, that's Staten Island. Staten Island is the Wu-Tang sword style, which is, if you paid attention, each one, 8-9 members that have about very different and versatile styles, but are very dope in their own ways.
True.
And gives each of you something. They each have a niche little market, that a following of people, and then collectively it's around the world.
And it's like you can't separate Shaolin from Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Staten Island from hip-hop from Wu-Tang. I know there's a new Shaolin, there's new Staten artists, but there's still...
But your sword
still the foundation.
Your sword technique is what separates you as a person. So you have to teach, the Wu-Tang sword style is just a matter of, be the dopest artistic entity you can be while showing off your style and versatility. And that in itself is the Wu-Tang Staten Island sword style. Shaolin, that's the sword style. And then going from martial art, I start to dig further. You go into Shaolin, which there are styles that have nothing to do with the sword. It's all about fist. There's kicking techniques.
Yes.
It becomes other things. So what's your technique that you're really good at?
I hear you.
And you hit that.
Focus on that.
You focus in.
And make it better and better, and exactly, and be known for that.
I'm way better in the production and writing space, so I focus in on those spaces. And the video space is a new space I want to be in, because I actually want to get into the space of showing people martial arts and gymnastics. It's like full circle for me. So I'm working on getting that done, like getting back into working out and getting back into my martial arts regimen, so I can actually show that on camera and mix that with this hip hop space.
Yes, that's dope, man. I mean, I know you also have that project you were telling me about at your show, the grant that you got.
The Iko Wiki. I'm trying to have that out by late September. So I'm not gonna lie, it's become a lot of all-encompassing. So I'm trying to actually even get more funding to finish up the rest of it out. Now I've gotten some dope offers, so I'm very appreciative of that. So
dope.
I'm trying to.
Sometimes you got to hold on to things. You can't give the masses everything they want. Your fans, you gotta tease them a little bit.
Well, especially this one. It's like a pet project of mine. That to me, I feel like it'll lead to other things, because I have like these ideas of doing 5-track EPs that are just short films.
Okay, dope.
So that people get to see all of it together. And I actually kind of got that idea from another legend, Sticky Fingers, who did a movie called Day in the Life, that a lot of people, if you're young, you get a chance to go look up Day in the Life. I believe it's on Stars.
Okay.
You could find it. But Day in the Life, Sticky Fingers wrote an entire movie that is just in rap form. And he wrote everybody's parts, and there's guys like Mekhi Phifer in it. The dude from the Mod Squad, I can't remember his real name, name right now. So many big stars who he wrote verses for them, and they literally the whole story is told in rap form.
Nice. Yes.
And I thought this was like an absolutely brilliant. Seymour is the one who put me onto that too. He showed me that movie like almost 10 years ago.
Sticky Fingers always been talented.
Yeah, man.
Always doing like those dialogue.
I remember he
raps,
had like a hip hop monopoly he was gonna come out with for a while ago. You know what I'm saying? And I have this thing, I wanted to do hip hop trading cards of like rappers.
That's cool. That's
because I'm into this whole thing where it's like, and it should, to me, I think it should be a local thing. So like every city should have their own set of
I hear
hip hop
you.
cards
Yes, yes.
and rappers, and have the ratings from lyrical skill,
That's
style.
cool,
You know what I'm saying?
cool.
Kind of almost like Marvel trading
Yes,
cards and
that,
stuff
I
like
used to
that.
love the Marvel
Ah,
cards back in the days. Oh man, that was
I'm big on
yes,
that,
yes.
and I even said like there's so, and so as the more I'm learning about marketing, I'm starting to realize there's so many different ways that you can do things. So I'm even like, I have a friend is mine who's going to be dropping his album soon. My brother Pete, he owns a Pokemon shop,
Okay.
and he does stuff on Whatnot. Also, another rapper, please look up Rebel Jalal and Metacore. These are two guys who do a lot of dope stuff in the Pokemon world. Anybody who's into Pokemon, you should go check them out. So what we do is they got a they own Pokemon shop, and he told me about this app called Whatnot. I don't know if anybody knows about Whatnot or not. So, but you sell and buy and trade cars, comic books, video games, things of that nature. And I'm really into the collectibles.
Yes.
Like in my studio, I got Funko Pops. I got, you know what I'm saying. My man Pete, the one I'm talking, he donated the Supreme Edition Mortal Kombat game to me.
Oh shit. Okay.
So it's like, and I'm heavy into Legos. I love freaking Legos. So I'm trying to like really get involved in these companies and do things and events, and that way I would really love to. I don't know business like that, so my only way of doing it is by showing how much I love them and making it, incorporating it into my art.
That's dope.
And I'm hoping that they will see and reach out, or I run into the business guy who actually knows how to do that.
I got you.
And he runs in that direction. But
sometimes you need that break. You need that business.
I'm just being an artist
yes.
to the fullest of my extent, hoping that and you can't build business on hope, so I do the work.
No, understood.
Faith without work sucks. So I'm out here doing as much as I can, hoping that somebody will see and be like, he resonates something that we can use.
And it picks up. Yes.
And I'll be like, what do you need me to do? I've always been a doer. I'm not really. I tell people I hate chronic meetings.
Yes.
Don't have me sitting in a meeting about what we're gonna do for like hours at end. Can we just
no Zoom and shit.
can we just get to it? Like,
yeah.
Tell me what you need me to do. You need me to chop a sample, flip it into something. I got you. You need me to write this. I got you. You need me to shoot or film that. I got you. Just tell me what you need to do, and I'm moving to it.
More action, yes.
And I literally charge $50 an hour. That's it. Anything you need me to do, $50 an hour. You need me to mix and master songs, send those to me. They're $50 a song. Again,
so if people want to work with you in your studio, what's the best way to hit you up?
DM through IG at Agent Blurr, or
double R at the end.
Double R at the end, or again, call me at 347-465-0693.
Okay.
Don't really care. My phone number's on every app.
Nice.
I'm probably the most. They say don't be super accessible, but I found that the more accessible I am, it allows me to isolate myself even better.
Okay.
And if you're always kind of just upfront and honest, I will never say that I'm ever not in the wrong. But if you're always upfront and honest, I find that it forces accountability on people if they really like you.
I hear you.
They look at you and be like, you know what, I can't do it like that. I gotta like be honest. Like, you have to be real with me. And that's how I kind of just. It's gotten me through.
Were you always a hip hop head, or when you growing up, was it always
super hair metal? Metallica. I hung out with these two white kids growing up named Thomas Etheridge and another kid named Brian Forte. I love them to death. I actually don't know what happened to Thomas Etheridge, but Brian Forte actually runs a decal sticker company called Toxic Lizard in Pennsylvania. Anybody looking for decals for anything, holla at him on Instagram.
So he was a metalhead? He was a heavy metalhead for a while?
He was a hip-hop head.
He was
He was a super hip-hop head, but his dad was a metalhead, and he would go over and we would just listen to things, and I got into that because his dad would drive us, like where he lives now, his dad would drive us to Pennsylvania where they're building a house, and he would just have us listening to metal in the car the whole ride. And then my man Thomas Etheridge, now he was the super metalhead, like growing up 90s typical white kid, curses his mom out, destroys stuff, and he doesn't get his way. It used to bug me. I used to go to his house honestly, and I used to just like I love him to death. I hope he's changed over the years, but I used to just be there to be completely entertained by the two polar sides of life.
Oh my God.
It's almost like that I don't know if you've seen stand up with Dave Chappelle when he's like, I went to the white, they had stovetop stuff, and it's like but it's just a different world. Like I was like, oh, this is so crazy. But he introduced me to Red Hot Chili Peppers, Metallica, Def Leppard, freaking Judas Priest, all that like really hardcore metal
Does
stuff.
Does that influence your music nowadays? Would you say?
Yes, it makes. I like dramaticness in my hip hop. Like I like drops. I like for the beat to mostly be. I don't really like the beat to be super up until it hits the hook or something. I'd rather you hear bars in the verses, and then when you get to the hook, that's the hypnotizing melodic part.
Okay.
I want the verses for you to actually sit down and listen to what's being said. You know what I'm saying? Right now, everything is just kind of like, it's kind of energy. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we don't even acknowledge the energy we're giving off. And most of it is there's a lot of negative energy just being giving off 24/7. And people like the drill rap. You know what's great? I love drill rap beats. The energy is fucking beautiful. What I don't like is the subject matter. So I actually am working on a little thing called Drilling on Drill, which is I take a bunch of drill raps, I get younger guys on them, and just have them go in a different direction.
Cool, that's nice.
You know what I'm saying? Just
more positive direction.
Well, I look at it like positive and negatives are just both pieces of the balance in life. So I want them to have, like, if you're gonna talk this way, give a contrast of understanding of why you did it. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a line in one of my rhymes where I was like looking like a Greek god holding a discus. Now I'm lying out and slacked on the fitness. It's like I'ma say one thing but give you the contrast on the reality of what's going on in my life.
There's still a lesson in there.
Yeah,
in the bar
like,
there's a lesson. Yeah. It's
like if you're gonna say it, you can't. It's like if you're giving off that I'm gangster, shoot you. You don't expect anybody to think there's anything different in you.
Or if you don't address any of the consequences of that either.
If you're just a werewolf all the time, people are just gonna think you're a wolf because you never revert back to a man.
I hear you. Yes.
Ever, and that's kind of where we're at right now, you know. And I think in life, so I try to give as much. Like I tell people all the time, the scariest part is when people like you're a beacon for this or you're a light for that. Sometimes I'm like, yo, dude, I got some fucked up shit about me. Like I'm just like anybody else, bro. I'm really no different. I'm just trying my best to be as very upfront about my shit.
Sometimes we only portray either all the good times, like Instagram is like that, where you only see the highlights, right? Where everybody's balling, everybody's having a good time. You don't show the sad moments. You don't show the fight with your significant other. You don't show the yelling at your kids and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
I tell people on my Instagram, I try to tell you, this is my life. You usually see me rapping, sitting in the studio, making beats. Why? Because I literally am this guy. I wish that I was traveling and doing beats all over the place. I am not. Again, somebody gonna come through and make that happen. I'm with it. I wish that I was doing more shows in other places. I even said I'm not one of those dudes who would want to travel and you see me with. If I go to another state, another country, I want to be making music there too. I'm a foodie. Let's stop and get some food.
Yes.
I think it's a dope another art form. I would like to meet chefs, hang out with them.
Nice.
I have ideas for cooking shows in my head, kind of like Action Bronze. I want to meet rappers that cook. I have so many things in my head that I want to do just to show the people that this is just me. This is just who I am. I enjoy art of all forms, and I have a great respect and passion for them. And to me, art is my religion. Like, I grew up in a church home. I grew up like around a lot of religious things that were restricted with a lot of super crazy like rules.
Okay.
But I also seen the adverse sides of why some of these rules are there.
I hear you.
I tell people I love my mother to death, but when in a younger version of her was very extreme to one end, and the older version of her is really extreme to another. And I honestly like the older version better.
Okay. I hear you.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's like you get to a space where it's like that's real life. And
sometimes when you get older, you start reflecting back and realizing why certain things were. Maybe when we were younger, we were rebelling and be like, no, I don't accept the strictness. But once you're older, more responsibility, and you have kids, you might understand that it can't be a free-for-all either.
Before the pandemic and I started doing this, I felt hostile. I was agitated by having to do things I didn't like. I just do what I want every single day now. Okay. It's not hunky-dory. It's not peaches and cream. I have not figured out every little nook of this yet, but I am so much happier.
Nice. That's the goal, and that's important. I mean, that's what I was gonna say. Like, obviously, the goal for every artist is to reach as large audience as possible, to blow up, as they say. But sometimes, if you get happiness along the way, even if you don't reach that goal that you want, you still succeeded in a way because you're happier. Hopefully, you're therapeutic. You've grown as a person. You built a fan base as well, even if it's not as large as maybe we all want it to be. Even like with this show, if it gets picked up, alhamdulillah. But if it doesn't get picked up, I'm having fun doing it, highlighting dope artists like yourself. Absolutely.
Like, I even get back. That's why Will Smith is my favorite rapper. So I related to him. Relatability is what to me sends that large spread.
So top 5 rappers right now. Top 5.
Will Smith.
Number 1?
Number 1.
That's crazy, but I like that. That's dope.
Jay-Z. To me, he's the epitome of just business savvy and just bars and street all in one. Like, he understands the all around of it. After that, Eminem, because I just love the technical presence of just his skills. You know what I'm saying? Black Thought. Number 4.
Nice.
Absolutely. I just it's Black Thought. Like what else can you?
Doesn't get mentioned enough in top 5s, unfortunately.
He doesn't. And number 5 would be Killer Mike.
Nice. That's dope. That's a dope top 5. I like that.
Killer Mike is
Super
just
dope.
To me. Killer Mike, honestly, at this point, is the most closest representation of somebody that I kind of would like to move around like. You know what I'm saying? Political, understands community based without really being a politician, but at the same time he has a political understanding of how it affects us. So it's like I understand politics. I don't really like to delve in it, but I get how people organizing is where I guess that adverse side. I understand people organizing. So even though as much as an introvert I am, I try to pull people in. Because if I can organize people, then I feel like that helps me get to the people that can actually give me the funding to help these people.
I hear you, yes.
Like you know what I'm saying? And I've also, that's why I usually, artists, I try to teach them how to even produce themselves sometimes, engineer themselves sometimes, because the self-efficient I make you, I feel it's the best protection I can give you. It's literally, my own children, I tell my daughters, like I try not to protect my children. I try to teach them how to protect themselves.
I hear you. Not be overprotective and helicopter parenting and things like that.
I'm not going to be here one day.
I got you. And so they can be independent and self-sufficient, and exactly. That's the goal, man. Definitely.
And since everything is so indie now, and there's like there's the internet, so I feel like, all right, this is the space now for people to understand how to be kind of what I call interdependent. So it's like we're very independent, but we rely on each other. Mm-hmm. Staten Island is the greatest space for it because it's so small, and our biggest draws from here are 9 members that literally people tend to forget they were the dopest rappers in each section of Staten. So they all have a little branching out to other small businesses in a certain way. They got family, they got cousins who are talented in another region, and they're all trying to help. And I think people think there's a lot of pressure being in that space. If anything, I really kind of just want to be a conduit for that space where everybody can kind of work together without having a discrepancy. Even I have my own discrepancy. I'm not perfect sometimes, you know. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I try to be as accessible to everybody as possible because I want to find a place where we can bridge that at.
That's dope. Agent Blurr dropping knowledge bars right here. But we ready for the freestyle shit.
Start with my references, you know. Hey, what's that? Jazz. I'm gonna have to go with something I do know. That's like I said classic is defined as things judged through time to be of the highest of quality and design. So every time I decide to spit a rhyme, I scrutinize lines, keeping the value high. Whack bars is shameful, a crime. Every time I hear them, I die a little inside. If ego greater than skill, swallow your pride. You really shouldn't lie to yourself, it ain't right. My flow tight cause I practice it every night. Can't even count how many times I recite these sci-fi fantasy thrillers that I write. Never in your life will you find another that's like me when I go to work on a mic. So don't bite, lest you a great white. Heart of a lion, I started a knife light. Started with a stab, but now I'm twisting a knife like yikes. I said, yo, you keep going. Oh, I like to keep going. I said, it's big blurry. I came to bully the bullies. Utility belt, gadgets and goodies. Got a big S on my chest under the hoodie. Dance shoes on if a nigga feeling the boogie. I hang with the giants, walk with the Wookiees. Kill confirmed with the vets, never the rookies. Network steady lagging, you need to clear out your cookies. Rappers steady talking, they dope and they really doogie.
Yes,
there's nothing they saying that's really groovy. Believe me, I be listening, nothing just really move me. I drop jewels, these bars sparkle like rubies. All originalities gone, niggas is groupies. Who needs goofies when all your homies is goofies? Niggas talk shit till they find a hole in they koofy. No pillar, but never pussy, don't push me. I just stay in my lane, peacefully do me. My coffee beans be Guatemalan. African throw rugs in rooms that I recline in. Got me screaming, here's Johnny, the bitches, how I be shining. Down in silo side slices so pizzas taste like they flying. This high never declining. Mountains I'm steady climbing, your stars never aligning. You pussies done ripped your hymen, overstretched, trying to follow the patterns. They call me Simon, so Poseidon. How I started this flow, waving and tried it. Only drive spacecrafts, bitch, step up inside it.
Agent Blurr, Freestyle Drive.
No, I said, I had to start looking for heaven, cause I wasn't ready to die. God gave me this 24/7, I give it my all, swallow my pride. The world keep turning, I'm down for the ride. I don't decide when the stars get aligned. All of this comes from my higher design. I'm talking my shit and y'all pay me no mind. Give it a ride, I'm freestyling now and I'm all in this drive. It's me and Lebanese Ether that ride. We kicking it down on Castleton Ave, the Staten Island shit, and we know how we ride. We get it poppin', that's all we look like. I'm killing these beats here tonight. I'm about to go flip me some samples, that's right. I had to just come from the head. You never know what we gonna do, it's now dead. It's all of that positive shit, that's what I said. You killing these beats like a yeah. I don't fling the lead, unless it's a pencil, I said. All on my notebook, I'm writing it down. These bars and similes, feeling them now. I used to be a teacher, but they got me out. They said a black man can't do this right now. It's too fucked up in the system. Still, I be hitting them with it. I be doing this crazy shit. Look, I should be eclectic for this freestyling. I love it. I love it though. I love it though.
That was dope.
I've been watching Eclectic do it a lot lately.
That was super dope.
Yeah. I've been training 6 and youngin'. Slow cooking my greatness all in the oven. Been super bad like a nigga make lovin'. I can chop up a beat in a minute, it's nothing. All the hate motivates, keep it coming. I'm a beast, I'm an ape, I be dummin'. Let's keep it real, they be frontin'. No skill, just a whole lot of stuntin'. My beats bang, nothing like my beats bang on beat EP. You can hit the wall from the window like ski. Yin Yang twins when I'm back up on this beat though. I ride out, ripping on the Avlo. My flow is so low pro, y'all don't even know what I do, this is old flow. I sometimes write on the beat, sometimes shoot it, sometimes put it to the track. You know it, boot it, scoot it, throw it down the aisle. I'm about to go rap for therapy now. Shoot a little film, put it out, it be on my reels in another day, check it out. This is what we do though, training since a youngin', like 84 though. I was on the block just watching them. They was in the park with the turntables, hopping them. Had it hooked up to the light post. It was all crazy, running wires out the project windows.
Nice.
This is young school shit. This is that old school, new beat. I'm trying to keep with it. I'ma have to practice on these freestyles. Call my homie Collector, he gon' have to put me through the trials and paces and let me know you gotta run a mile. Maybe take a couple breaths before you really spit it out. I'm starting to catch the flow though. Yeah, you know though. I lost a little nerve, so blurry back to kick pro. Yes. Hey, it's that fun though.
Thank you, my brother. That was super dope, man. New project, Full Metal Veteran. Where can people check you out? What's the best place?
You can catch me on Spotify. These are all streaming platforms. Just type in Agent Blurr. Google me. I tell people that all the time. Just Google me. Agent Blurr. AGENT BLURR. Put that to all in one for Instagram. I'm right there. You already know.
I'll put the name right here. Agent Blurr.
Agent
super
Blurr.
dope.
You already know. I hope y'all got to see some of that freestyle me going from terrible to good too. That's the whole part of this. I want y'all to know that. This is good stuff, man. I like that.
We building dope into you, man. Had a great time, great discussion with you, my brother. Again, congratulations on the new album, Full Metal Veteran, super dope.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for everybody for tuning in. FreestyleDrive.com. Make sure you check him out again. Agent Blurr, Freestyle Drive. I'm Lebanese Ether. Peace.
Peace.